Hi boys and girls, today we're going to get to make a clay owl. These are super cool owls and they're a lot of fun to make, and you're always going to remember making this clay owl in first grade. I'm sure it's something that you'll keep for a long time. So here's some examples and we're going to go ahead and get started. To get started, you're going to need something to put on your table so the clay doesn't stick to the table. So I have this round piece of cardboard, and you're going to need a chunk of clay. Does anyone know where clay comes from? Clay comes from the ground. It's a natural resource. It's just there. It's a kind of soil. And this clay actually came from Asheville, North Carolina, so we can use it. So our first step when we get all the materials we need is that we have to take this clay and roll it into a ball. We can roll it in both our hands, just going in circles, or we can roll it on our table. So whatever's easiest, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Take a couple minutes to roll your piece of clay into a ball. Okay, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine's a little lumpy and it's a little off, but it's close enough. For the next step, you're actually going to need to stand up because we have to put all our weight down on our ball and we're going to flatten it. It's almost going to be like an oval. So everyone can stand up and use the palm of their hand to flatten their ball of clay. You don't want it to be too thin or too thick. It should be about the thickness of a pancake. So when you think yours is about the thickness of a pancake, then go ahead and stop. Okay, our next step is to add some feather shapes on our owl's belly. And we're actually going to need a marker to help us with that. Seems a little silly, but what we're going to do with the marker is we're going to press it into the clay and it makes a little print. Can you see that? That's so cool. It almost makes a U shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go across and make rows and rows of U shapes by pressing my marker into the clay, but only pressing the side of it. I'm just using the side and pressing U shapes. You're not finished until you've reached the bottom and you've filled up the middle section with U's. Our next step is to roll our wings over, and we're almost folding them over like a taco. So I fold one over, kind of press it down, and I'm folding the other one over. And when we do that, we have these nice wing shapes. So we don't want to cover our owl's belly all the way. We want to still see his feathers, and we just want to press down so that we have these nice wings. So everyone can go ahead and press their wings down. After we have our wings pressed down, we're going to kind of do the same thing for the top. I'm going to put my fingers here to hold the clay and push this part down. And this is going to be where we make his face. So I'm just going to smooth some of these cracks out. This is going to be my owl's face. And I'm going to pinch his ears to give him some pointy ears. So you can fold your face down and pinch your owl's ears. Sometimes when we pinch our ears, we make them too skinny by pinching them too hard. This is going to break. We want it to be thicker than that. So I'm just going to press this clay back together and make it one solid piece and keep my ear a little thicker. We don't want our ears to be really skinny because really skinny clay breaks really easily. Now we're going to do the most important step of all. We're going to write our name on the back of our owl. So you can take your stick, a wooden stick, and write your name or your initials just by carving it into the owl. It's also nice to write the year that we made our owls. Right now it's 2015, so I'm going to write 2015 right after my initials. And since we're making these at school, I also want you to try to squeeze in your teacher's initial and put a circle. So just whatever the first name or the first letter of your teacher's last name is, write that letter and say it was an L. And then put a circle around that letter. Then you're going to flip your owl back over and we're going to start making his face. This same marker that we used to make his feathers, we can use to make his eyes. It has a really cool shape on the bottom and we can use the marker as a stamp. The other side of the marker is kind of cool too. It has this little circle. We could press that down in the middle of the eye. That gives it lots of really cool layers. I could use my stick and draw some eyelashes if I wanted my owl to look girly. I could also use my stick to give my owl a beak by drawing a V shape in between his eyes. I can use stamps to decorate his wings. The stick is also a really good stamp with this small circle. I can make a line of dots. The last and most important step is to poke a hole through your owl's ear. This is going to give us a place to add a wire hanger with beads later, so that's super exciting. So if we have a hole, we can put a piece of wire through it, and we can even put beads on our wire if we want to. That's a fun touch at the end. So when you're happy with your owl, you're sure you have your name on the back, you're going to carefully put your owl on the tray with the other owls from your class. Alright, great job guys. I hope you had fun making your clay owls today.